Oh, yeah. What up, y'all? It's your boy, one and only A Switch, aka the Deep Throat Degenerate, aka the 110-time social distancing champion, aka the Negro Lip Master, bringing you yet another episode of Switches Sites, episode 66 to be exact. Today's date is July 30th, 2020. Um, those who don't know, this podcast is about gaming, and I talk about just that: games, games, and more games. Maybe some stuff related to games, but you know. I'd say pretty calm week this week. Nothing like necessarily astonishing, but still some decent stuff to be looking forward to and excited about. So let's stop the dilly dallying and get into it. First big big thing happening today. Not today, but you know what. First big thing that happened this week. Or I guess technically last week. Last Friday, I think to be exact, was freaking G4 is coming back. Um G4's Twitter, as well as some of the related shows that are, generally at this point tightly associated with G4, like Xplay, even though Xplay started with Tech TV and then merged with G4 to be G4 Tech TV, I think. And then I think they just went back to just G4 or something like that. But either way, I guess apparently G4 has the rights to Xplay. Um, so yeah, shows like Xplay, Attack of the Show, those are at least the only notable ones that come to mind. I'm not sure about any of the other ones outside of that, but pretty much it seems like G4 is coming back overall. They said specifically 2021. Um, but then it's like kind of vague how that's gonna work. At least, kind of in today's climate. Well, I mean, when you put it that way, I mean, games are really flourishing as a whole medium today, compared to when G4 premiered back when like the wake of gaming was really starting to get big to some extent. So, very curious to see how this is gonna play out. Like, is G4 maybe gonna go the YouTube route and like just produce content specifically for YouTube, or they actually are going to go back to network television and like, have their own channel? Very curious how that's all going to play out. Like, are all the classic shows going to come back? Like freaking Judgment Day with Victor Lewis, Lucas and Tommy Tallarico. Love the kind of Roger and Ebert. Those are the famous like movie critics, right? It was kind of like it felt like Roger and Ebert of video games, which I always appreciated seeing opposing sides of some games, seeing like very hidden gems and stuff. Always appreciated that television, especially growing up. That only that only solidified my intense desire to get into that. G4TV.com, love that show. It was like a really cool, like really relaxed, open ended, yeah, overall laid back of the show about like, people more or less, responding to fans and like their impressions and opinions and kind of bouncing off that. But overall, really love the vibe of the show. Apparently, that website is back because I know for that show there was a dedicated forums, which I never participated in, at least since I wasn't really that technologically literate in the computer realm, and I guess I never really necessarily had my own computer, had a public computer amongst our family, but that is crazy. That's good to hear that G4TV.com likely might be back. Love to see the show of that format in today's climate with, all the waves of controversies and stuff in games and stuff like that. So that's going to be pretty awesome to see that come back. I'd say the biggest question is if like are some of these hosts going to come back? Um like specifically Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb or Kate Patello back in the like extended play days before extended play was Xplay. Um, yeah, man, it's gonna be interesting to see how that all is gonna play out. Are they gonna be new hosts? How are they gonna be received? Stuff like that. So it's gonna be very interesting to see how this is all gonna play out. But I'm definitely looking forward to it. Um, yeah, it's gonna be pretty dope. I'll definitely for sure give it a try. I mean, depending on how it's being set up, or is it going to be online only? Because I mean, to be honest, if for that channel, the channel to exceed in today's climate, I think internet related television is probably their best bet, like a la YouTube, and using a popular established video platform, which most gamers utilize anyway. It's very rare you have gamers nowadays that have cable, um, and watch TV specifically on cable. I would assume more people are cutting the cord and things like that nowadays too. So yeah, it's gonna be very interesting how they're gonna approach. My suspicion is they're gonna go the YouTube channel route and have all their shows premiere and release kind of in the same similar format as like back in the day, but now you have the on demand kind of accessibility convenience of be able to if you missed the show one day you can catch up and stuff like that. It just makes more sense now in today's climate. I feel like TV is on its way out at some point. Maybe it's probably gonna be a long time from now, but I don't know. I think on demand is the way to go now, just for people's lives and commitments and things like that. So all in all, looking very much forward to it. Just a lot of questions that I'm curious to see how they answer, but I assume we'll probably get some driplets of news and stuff here and there as we get closer to the supposed 2021 release date. So yeah, moving on. Let's see where at. Team. Trying to do time codes. I actually remember actually remembered this episode, so hopefully I can keep on track and not forget. Um, that was one thing too. I guess we could save that. No, we could say real quick. YouTube has this cool feature where they recently had it within a few months that um you can basically do chapters where you can like basically segment the YouTube video where it has the timeline, where normally it's just a standard timeline, but now it's broken up by what you name the chapters. But I've been messing around with it. I personally couldn't get it to work, but I guess maybe I'm assuming it's because I'm too small of a person, not in reality. But in the internet space that I think they only reserve it for bigger YouTube people, which is unfortunate. I think just for over anybody that wants to skim and try to get the information they need, it'd be more helpful that way. But it is what it is. Sorry to deviate, but thought that was somewhat relevant as I'm why I'm trying to do time codes if it ever works. So technically, I may be doing it for nothing, but whatever. I'll at least put the effort in to say I did it. You know, to say I did it. Um, yeah. So Nintendo source code leaked. So apparently, a huge ass data leak from Nintendo straight up leaked, like straight up source code, which I believe is like um I'm maybe a little rusty in terms of that knowledge, but I think this is essentially how, or at least is the foundation for how you can create content or more or less port games that were on previous consoles to like current gen consoles, which a lot of people were, hoping and aspiring for having like 64 games being ported to Switch and stuff like that. Source code is definitely the kind of the first step foundation that you normally need to do that if you're not like just start from scratch and trying to emulate that way, which is more of a pain and more time consuming to my knowledge. Again, I am not a game developer. I guess I took classes, a couple classes back in college, but nowhere near to the advanced knowledge that, the actual game developers may have in terms of the development process of developing games for uh you know today, I guess. So but it was interesting, a lot of particular aspects that people were digging in, and like one of the, I guess, notable ones is Luigi actually being included in Mario 64, where I guess that's kind of been a long going myth, that he was supposedly in the game somehow. I think the only way was through cheat devices, I believe. But of course, he was in, I think, the DS version of 64. But that's a port, and where they can add that. But apparently, he was in the source code, and they found him in the game. So it's kind of crazy. I think there was some Zelda stuff where it's just like a lot of unused assets, just cool, thought provoking things like for very nerdy gaming people like us would, find interest in, which I personally do. Just, I'm big on did you know gaming, which they seem to always specialize in, like, assets that would have been used for the game but aren't, or didn't, for in some way, shape, or form. Various models that weren't necessarily implemented, stuff like that. Um, yeah, man. Yeah, I'm just looking through all of this, and it's a lot. It's a lot that got leaked. Um, so I think what this also means is that people could technically reverse engineer ports and, like, make the Zelda we want, or the 64 Zelda in HD now and things like that. So it's a kind of a gift and a curse, where it's like it's good for that, but bad, where Nintendo would definitely be cracking down at things like that. But overall, it's just some interesting stuff, like this weird thing with a GameCube controller, but it's apparently a Wii Mote prototype where it has this weird camera attached to it. Is pretty fascinating just to see kind of the origins of this. And I think like it was one with oh yeah, like deformed Yoshi. I think for Super Mario World, where he just looks totally different and like off, but I think it started catching on to be a meme and stuff. All in all, pretty interesting stuff. And it seems like people are just digging in and finding more and more stuff each day that is pretty pretty relevant. But all in all, pretty fascinating, I have to say. Even as somebody that's not a huge Nintendo fan, um, just 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 seeing like, I mean, I guess I'm weird like that, but I do like finding out and seeing some of developers' intentions or initial, I guess, brainstorming aspects, um which this was a lot. So yeah, Nintendo crack it down. I feel like at this point, considering how tight they are with cracking down in general, like they must have like some like hidden undercover task force that like is like secret agents, like they could take people out. Like they're probably trying to find this person that leaked uh all of these sources, and like, hey, I'm just, yeah, they like got black suits, but they got like Nintendo branding. They got they got the Nintendo Zapper as gun. They got super scopes just in case stuff gets a little extra. Uh, oh man, that's funny. Oh man, I, I feel I'm really joking, but I feel like, oh man, that could be a possibility. They got like a straight up task force that does covert ops, and by any means necessary text Nintendo's name. I'd love to see that story. Nintendo make that game. Kind of like go over our eyes with it, but for people that are woke per se, it's like, oh, we know what's going on here. Um, on that note, moving on. Um, moving on. Sorry, I am trying to keep track of my time codes. I'm gonna do it this episode. Um, Series X, Xbox Series X, which we still have no price on. And let's get on that tangent real quick. I probably should have said that at the start of the show. It's what we're almost about to go into August. Almost what 3-4 months before the consoles come out. Still no damn prices on these damn consoles. Somebody needs to give up and reveal the price so they can get undercutted by the other. Right? PlayStation, you got it. Just go ahead and stick to your guns and show it. Just show it. All right. Just show it. Just show it, please. Um. Anyway, Xbox Series X. Um. Apparently, there's a white controller being leaked online, where it looks legitimately like a Series X controller, but white. So that's leading a lot of people to believe that one is probably a white edition of the Xbox Series X, or the white version could possibly be like the Xbox Series S, or the code name Lockhart, which is supposed to be the lower grade or lower tiered Xbox console that isn't as powerful as the Series X. But I guess technically, now that we know, I think a couple episodes ago, that this might potentially be, well, yeah, this definitely would be replacing the Xbox One X if it is true. Um, so pretty cool overall. I mean, uh, I don't know. I'm not I like white, but if I had the option, I'd choose black because I just like black, and then it, blends in with, when it's dark, I don't know. But if I didn't have a choice, white is fine, So, um, interesting stuff. I guess, yeah, the biggest thing is just like, as to this might be revealing more console SKUs, which is probably the more interesting aspect of this. But all in all, it does look cool white, but I don't know, it's just white. Just, you sometimes you get gunk on it and it's way more visible than black, even though you should be cleaning your controls anyway, but people know, you know, people know. That's really all it is to that. So moving on. Um, so Street Fighter Five. They did well. Announcement to an announcement. Um, they're announcing that there is going to be a summer update, which is going to be August 5th, which I believe is next Tuesday, Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, where I'm pretty certain. I mean, just going on a it's going on a ledge here. That some characters are going to get revealed. Just going on a limb, gonna take a risk. But yeah, so they, at least on their Twitter, they said Street Fighter 5 summer update is coming your way. Join us and some special guests on August 5th for the future of Street Fighter 5 Champion Edition, including season 5 character reveals, esports news, and more. So there you have it. There it is. There it is. Um, but I guess kind of piggybacking off that, even a bigger revelation fighting game wise, which is pretty damn interesting in terms of the potential prospect, is um, this Japanese event called the Fighting Game Roundtable, where it freaking entails like a lot of fighting game companies and developers, including Tekken 7, Soul Calibur 6, Guilty Gear Strive, Fighting EX Layer, and Street Fighter 5. They all confirmed that they're going to be at this event, uh, which I think a lot of people have led to the suspicion of potentially we might get rollback netcode universally rolled out, like as a standard for fighting games, which would be great, since it's always been a consistent issue with fighting games. A lot of them are flawed by this, and especially now we don't even know like how much of a travesty like Evo Online would have been, before it was canceled. Um, so yeah, I don't know. But at the same time, because Evo's canceled, a lot of these announcements that I'm pretty sure were gonna be saved for Evo actually might be all just grouped up in this group stream of all these fighting game developers showing new content coming out for the game. So um yeah, man. I definitely hope that we do get a we do get rollback netcode universally pushed out. Since I know issue for specifically Japanese fighting game developers is implementing netcode uh that accommodates everybody like from far distances. I believe like some of the older netcode and or at least the netcode they always been sticking to always seem to be to accommodate Japan specifically, and anybody outside of that is not really that great because of the netcode being more accommodating to people with within close proximity of each other, but doesn't necessarily scale for distance, which um, not to get into all the dynamics and semantics and what have you, but that's generally the impression I've got from like Maximilian, and there was a good ass explanation from this one guy. I think he was the developer of Skullgirls, where he talked about a net code for fighting games in depth, how most people do it, and how rollback net code actually is better for widespread environment and in general, as net code. So that's definitely what I would like most. I know that's. I mean, I'm not gonna say I'm the best fighting game player ever, whatever. But I can say that I think for anybody can really attest to it. Playing fighting games and having horrible net code always is like a killer for fighting a game. I feel for me personally. So like, let's say I get a fighting game, which I generally do, even though I know like I'll get a fighting game, I'll play it for a bit, get my ass whooped, get discouraged, and stop playing. But I think one factor that would have helped me generally is playing fighting games and there actually being good net code for the most part. Um, and overall just making it more playable, giving you more looks for, people and, overall expanding your ability skill, which I think some of this older net code definitely restricts you from. I mean, looking real hard at you, Smash Brothers. I'm just saying, because man, I'd be playing the hell out of that game if the net code was good. That's probably the only game I could think of that I really would play hard if netcode was really good. So I mean, who knows? Bandai Namco is confirmed to be there. Sakurai technically, I believe, is somewhat with Bandai Namco developing Smash. So possibly, maybe that could be a possibility, and maybe just a surprise from out of nowhere, take the show, and that'd be pretty dope. Also, I've said it before. I mean, Kiryu for Tekken. Just saying. I think the odds are very high now, especially Japan, where when this event takes place in Japan, where this Yakuza is like one of the most popular established IPs out there. So it would make total sense if Kiryu got announced for Tekken, and Tekken is going to be confirmed to be there at this event. So um, I'm looking very much forward to this. I know some Guilty Gear characters are going to be announced. Um, I'm not sure what Street Fighter V is going to do, considering that they said they have an event on August 5th, and this event takes place this Saturday, August 1st. Um, yeah, so it's gonna be weird to see. They'll probably do maybe some brief teaser and then maybe give you the full thing on August 5th or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, all in all, pretty cool. I'm definitely all for this. Unfortunate all the stuff that happened at Evo that totally, took it away from a lot of people that were, training and wanting to compete. But I think this is a pretty decent consolation, if anything, to kind of somewhat redeem this atrocious, if I could say it, atrocious trash ass year that's been 2020 so far that I don't think anybody's seen. So all in all, good stuff. Next topic of discussion is Animal Crossing New Horizons, a new update. I think dropped sometime this week, which I got to dabble a little bit of it, which I guess I'll talk about towards the end, but um some pretty decent updates. I hear one of the most notable, I guess to some people, I think according to Kotaku, is that you can trip in the game now. So I mean, for people that's like, this game is not great. I mean, I can't trip. What can I do with this game? Trash. I can't trip in this game. Hate it. Ah, fuck this game. I hate this game. You can't have a perfect game without tripping. I don't know. Some people out there, I'm sure. But have no fear. your fears are no longer here. Yeah. So that's one, I guess, supposed aspect. I think fireworks, they had a video trailer about it. Fireworks, I think you can also now upload your island to the cloud. So if your Switch gets like freaking devoured by a polar bear, because that happens to everybody, we all know. It's gonna happen to you one day. I'm sorry to break it down to you. I'm sorry to break hearts, but everybody's gonna get mauled by a polar bear. It's a it's a fact. It's You can read the data, look on Google. It's The facts are there, right? It's like thunder. Well, even worse. Polar bears are gonna be more popular than thunder, you know. So yeah, accept it. Anyway, yeah. So all in all, pretty interesting update. It seems. I think also dreams. You can visit people in dreams, which is weird. Which I guess that's one factor. I never actually understood how the dream mechanic worked. I thought I was only able to do it once, but wasn't quite sure how I was able to do it. I assumed you just do it when you go to sleep at night. Like if you go to sleep within the time frame of like, general standard nighttime for most people, like 10 to whatever, that, you could then dream, whatever, something like that. But it's very vague how it seems to work. I'd have to research it, I guess, but apparently you can visit people in your dreams, which is kind of creepy to some extent. I think there's something about that just seems weird, like you're violating somebody's mind when they're not conscious, I don't know. Feels like it's going into that territory also. But I mean, it's cute. Santa crossing is cute, so I mean it's okay, right? I guess. I don't Keeping in line with updates. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Is getting an update as of or planned for um October 29th, where it's actually a pretty hefty update. There's gonna be a boss rush mode where, if playing the whole game wasn't frustrating enough, you can fight all these hard ass bosses in succession and potentially break your controller and TV and all related equipment. You also get one life, by the way. So you beat the first boss, good. Beat the second boss, all right, good on you. Die on the third, well, tough luck, buddy. You have to start all over again. Going by what they're saying. So I'm all right. I'm okay. Sekiro gave me enough of an aneurysm after I beat it. I was like, you know what? I'm done. I'm done. I'm done with it. Um, yeah. Yeah, the only Dark Souls related game I think I beaten multiple times has to have been Bloodborne. Yeah, that's the only one I legitimately beat. I can't even say legitimately. It was a cool ass exploit that like lets you rank up super fast. So I was like, before they patched it out, that actually encouraged me to keep playing it. Um, but yeah, so in addition to that, I think there's a couple new costumes. A really dope like Tengu one was that I saw in some of the screenshots was pretty cool. Um, and then there's also a messaging system, I believe, kind of similar to Dark Souls, where I think you'd see recordings of people, people just getting straight obliterated. You're like, oh God, hope that isn't me, and then it ends up being you, as always, as in all Dark Souls, Soulsborne Sekiro games. Um, yeah, kind of makes you wonder why they didn't have it at launch. I guess they ran into issues with it or something. But pretty cool. Yeah, I don't know if that will warrant me coming back to like play it all over again, but pretty cool for the fans that love this game. It's a great game, but it's one of those just very stressful experiences, and that after you're finally done, whew, done. Don't really feel like going through all that over again. But cool stuff either way. Good to see support, well, I guess, for the game of the year. Which I think that's also a thing. The game of the year edition is coming out, I think, around the same time, I want to say. So be on the lookout for that. Hardcore masochist fans that want to prove that they're a legitimate gamer by beating this game, which I have to say I am guilty of that very much. I am. I'm guilty, Your Honor. In other news, Resident Evil 8. This game that is keeps on giving. Apparently there's been some more leaks, rumors, with another supposed playtest that took place. Um, I don't know why Resident Evil didn't give me another invite. You know, I gave them my legitimate input last playtest. I guess they was like, you know what? He's spitting that truth. We don't want him to come back. So it's cool. It's all right, Resident Evil. I mean, I'm like one of your biggest fans, but okay, it's fine. Just be like that. Just be like that. Either way. Um, so it's a lot of actually a lot of information that has been supposedly leaked. I don't want to get into too much of it, but at least regarding the playtest segment, it seems like it's definitely different from the playtest. At least I got to experience myself. That this one, I think they said takes place in the mansion, which was hinted at in like the trailer of the recent one at the PS5 event. They talked about it being on PS4 Pro, the demo they played, but they did say that it was, I guess it wasn't solidly confirmed, but at least in terms of all the promotional material for RE8, it seems like that game is gonna be only next gen, but may potentially be released um previous gen after next gen comes out. Which I would assume that that's definitely happened a lot for a lot of games that have come out. You know, they don't want to neglect that huge established player base anyway. You know, for especially for people waiting, gonna hold it that are gonna hold out on getting the PS5 and Xbox Series X. So, um, all in all, interesting. They go on a little bit too spoilery stuff, which I don't even feel comfortable talking about myself or even really looking at this, but just the straight details of a boss fight, which is like, I mean, that's the appeal of a boss fight. You want to figure out how to defeat it. So, but there was apparently a boss fight in the game. I'm guessing what are those like witches? I'm not sure, or vampires? Witch vampires, bitches, bitches. Bring that term. Somebody in very weird making their new comic bitches. Moving on. Yeah, they're talking about some details of the playtest. Featured a handgun, shotgun, which I think I got. Yeah, I got a shotgun in the previous playtest. Unbreakable knife, which I got as well. What's interesting that at least was in the previous playtest I was in was temporary melee weapons like an axe that can be broken off in a few hits. I don't even think you can do that in RE7. So cool, somewhat little subtle callback to one of the best multiplayer games of all time, Resident Evil Outbreak, where you could do just that using melee weapons, which was actually pretty nicely implemented. It was pretty fair, pretty reasonable. Wasn't necessarily broken unless you had some characters that could exploit that. But you know, it had like a what's the term? A durability, where you know you like use it like maybe 4, 5, 6 times, and after that, then it basically is not useful anymore, and then you can like throw it after or something like that. So pretty cool. That's a pretty interesting aspect that I would like to see more of. Um, Switch things up a bit. Inventory. I know this was a big one for a lot of people, including myself, in terms of like, are they actually going to go the RE4 route and implement the attaché case from RE4? Um, they said the inventory seems to have been back to the RE2 3 remake, which is somewhat of a, I guess, nerfed RE4 attaché case thing, which technically makes a lot of sense considering RE4 is more actiony than survival horror. So I mean, if that's the trade off, I totally understand that. If that is actually the case there. Mysterious old woman. This is pretty interesting. So apparently the old woman that's seen in the trailer is apparently gonna be the merchant. So what are you buying, stranger? Uh I'm curious. I hope she has a very, I guess resonating, distinct, you know, one dialogue, I guess, in terms of purchasing stuff, if this is true. Um, yeah, they're saying she's not the enemy, uh, has many goods to sell and rumors to share. So I'm guessing, yeah, selling stuff like the merchant, maybe you could pay some money to get like a hint about like some enemies in the environment, maybe some of their weaknesses, things like that, maybe hidden like spots with treasure or things like that. I would assume be pretty damn awesome if true. um yeah, I'm down for that. It doesn't necessarily directly rip off RE4, but definitely comes from a good place in terms of trying to bring some familiarity and also trying to blend what RE4 did, but making it a little bit more intense and more horror-esque, where there is more fear, survival, more consideration about like conservation in terms of like ammo and health resources and stuff like that. So definitely liking what I heard about that. Um, Yeah, all in all, those are really the big highlights without spoiling it. I forgot VR. So I think I somewhat talked about it's likely going to be VR, but at least it's kind of good we have somewhat of a more further established semi confirmation um, that VR is likely to happen, but they won't make that announcement until Sony is ready. So yeah, from at least the demo I played, it was all in first person like RE7. So I'd say it's pretty likely that it's gonna be VR, since I know that was actually a big selling point for PSVR for a lot of people. Still kind of messed up though. I know they said uh RE7 PSVR was gonna be timed exclusivity and then eventually roll out to like Steam and all the other relevant VR software/hardware, which is weird. Maybe there's somebody that modded that in or something. Who knows? But all in all, pretty good. I still, yeah, still gotta get into PSVR. Yeah, if anything, I would dabble into VR, probably be PS4, maybe PS5 first, depending on how they take care of it. They said the original PSVR is going to be backwards compatible to the PS5, I believe. So could be a possibility. But I mean, it's like at that point, I'm just gonna wait out and maybe get PSVR 2, whatever that ends up being. Um, yeah. So pretty reasonable details, and I think we don't have too long until we find out when Uh, or I think they said that they're gonna have an event in August, or like some more in-depth trailer or information regarding RE8 to be pretty good in terms of finding more information about this game as a whole. Uh, but overall, I have to say, as somebody that's not pretty against RE being first person, I'm definitely intrigued, interested in seeing more about this game. Outside of just playing the damn game. But 2021, supposedly, it's going to be the release date. So moving on, just what in the hell in the mess in God's name news? Konami, one of the best companies ever currently right now, right? They gave you the hits like Metal Gear Survive, hey, it's great. Gave you Metal Gear Solid 5, which they took a very good part in, totally really butchering the hell out of that game. Against Kojima's efforts to make that game fully fleshed and another masterpiece, but uh some people didn't want that. So, yeah, you guys know them, right? Oh yeah, they make pachinko machines using all of the very established IPs that people actually want sequels and games to. You guys remember the Silent Hill pachinko machine? I know we all do, right? Great. Love it. I love it. You love it, right? Uh, they canceled one of the most anticipated games of all time. I think one of the uh highest downloaded demos of all time, PT, which ended up being Silent Hills. But sucks for you because we're not gonna get that game now because Konami can't play nice and canceled it. So, you know, yeah, Konami, right? So they are making a PCs, pre-built PCs. Konami is making pre-built PCs. Just want to let that sink in. Pre-built PCs. Konami. So yeah, Konami's doing great, y'all. And then another thing is that like freaking the PCs are, at least spec wise, are one, trash, and two, at least for even the better ones, they're ridiculously priced. And you could get better prices from other way more reputable established pre-built PC sellers. So yeah, yeah, and then yeah, they got pre-orders. Then they're gonna use the horrible, corny, atrocious uh, advertising up down down left right BA to enter the BIOS. I don't think I will, Konami. I don't think I will. Not at all. No, I'm not interested at this all. No, no, thank you. Moving on. um, and pretty cool. Game and media related news. Um, Splinter Cell is actually getting an anime adaptation on Netflix, and the producer is actually the creator of John Wick, um, Derek Kolstad, who's writer and executive producer. I could say words, writer and executive producer. Um, yeah. So interesting is really the biggest thing here. I mean, you don't really associate Splinter Cell with anime, considering how super realistic it is in general in terms of its themes and things like that, where it seems to somewhat, stick close to world current events and stuff like that. So, um, super weird that this is happening. Splinter Cell anime. Yeah, I would never be able to guess that in a million years. Or if somebody like put that in there, guess all these things that are gonna happen in 2020. I mean, of other bigger things. Yeah, this is one I definitely wouldn't anticipate. But I mean, got John Wick, guy who's been closely involved in John Wick. So I mean, John Wick was good. So I mean, the potential's there, if anything. Um, I'm very curious about the art style and how that's actually gonna be portrayed because I feel like to somewhat reel in fans of Splinter Cell, include myself, I feel like the art style would need to somewhat hint at a realistic, uh, some realistic undertones in the design, if that makes sense. So not as like I guess abstract, but more somewhat of a balance between abstract and concrete, where it's not as outlandish or whatever. I guess my imagination is going crazy in terms of animation form of Splinter Cell. It might be super realistic, but just in anime form. But it's hard to fathom what that could be, consider we have not seen anything yet of it. But I'm interested as a Splinter Cell fan. I'm definitely interested in give it a shot. I mean, we could use a game though. I mean, Splinter Cell being involved in like Ghost Recon DLC and like this mobile game, but we're not. We've yet to see a actual full blown um, new IP. But who knows? Might hear some stuff at this. I think this supposed next Xbox event in August. Maybe Ubisoft might have something under their sleeve closer to holiday. Clock is ticking, but and then of course COVID, but who knows? But yeah, all in all, pretty good stuff. I have to say, have to admit. Um, so yeah, that covers all the news for this week that I found relevant. Let's get into some of them games I've been up to. So, Ghost of Tsushima. That game was great. Probably put since last episode, probably put like a good 20-ish hours into it. I want to say. Been doing a lot of the side stuff, which has been actually been really fulfilling and great. You actually get a lot of really useful, helpful abilities and skills and stuff that definitely helps you in combat a lot, which I'm really liking. The combat overall feels really good. I do also have to say, at least from watching the trailers and previews, I was under the impression that the game would really like make you go between combat and stealth a lot, which was kind of a little off-putting. But I do like that it kind of somewhat goes the Metal Gear Solid slash I guess Last of Us route, where it's gonna be somewhat a little bit more difficult if you don't go stealth, but you can actually go non-stealth for a lot of the game, if you choose. Which that's definitely what I've been doing. It's like, well, do you want to go quiet or loud? I'm about to go loud. Chitty chitty bang bang, bitch. All right. So I mean, if you're gonna give me a choice, I'm going guns blazing. I'm just saying. These guns about to come out. I got this minigun in my pocket. It's about to get revealed. It's about to get revealed. But yeah. So really loving the combat, loving the progression, like getting skills and earning skills seems to be pretty solid, pretty sound. Um, yeah. I guess one thing that I guess I'm a little concerned about is that the game definitely seems to give you a message or theme that um going stealth and being a coward and killing killing people without them being able to put up a fight is frowned upon, at least according to in the story, Jin's uncle, the main character. Um, he definitely is like a couple times, like I think maybe I stealth killed somebody for the first time, but I was like forced to do it. So they gave me a cutscene like, Jin, stealth is not the way to go. We do not do stealth. Stealth is for cowards. But then it's like you're forcing me to do missions where I'm forced to do stealth, where if I don't do stealth, I'll fail the mission. So it's like, what am I what am I supposed to do here? So that's if anything, one of the gripes I have with the game, with that kind of mixed messaging or more or less contradictory messaging, where it's like, okay, if you tell me not to be stealthy, then don't force me to be stealthy from a gameplay perspective. Is just one gripe I've kind of at least noticed so far. And it feels like there's like story related ramifications of that, where I'm assuming or suspecting that if you play the game like I guess say stealthily the whole entire game, or I guess my suspicion, I don't know if fully, I know they said there are multiple endings. So my suspicion is that if you go stealthy too much or a lot, or maybe there's some definitive limit or threshold that if you surpass it, you're automatically in a like a bad ending or something. That that's what will happen. You'll get like a horrible ending or atrocious ending, or Jin uh became to be the biggest coward of all, never stood face to face with his enemies and lived a horrible, atrocious life being this coward because you're a coward and you're a coward for being stealthy in this whole game. So I don't know. That's kind of what I assume will happen. Basically, they tell you you're a damn coward because you can't stand up and fight people face to face or something. I don't know. Just a suspicion. Not sure. Not sure how or what the determining factor is for that. So would love to know it though, but I mean, the game definitely seems to hint that that is the case. That if I keep going stealth, you will get a worse ending. I feel like so. I'm about to be slicing these dudes up. Just saying. And I mean, I know I mentioned it last episode, but damn, no good times. But shouts out to good times. Um, This game looks so damn good, man. It really does. And it's crazy. It's crazy. This really does feel like a next gen game before next gen, especially with the load times. It's still mind blowing how crazy the load times for this game is. Like basically, if I want to fast travel, which you'll most likely do a lot, which I've been doing definitely a lot. If you want to go to another location, you will hit fast travel literally under like 5 seconds. I shit you not. You load into whatever area. I did notice the longer the distance you fast travel, the slightly longer it is, but pretty much generally it's like max 5, maybe 6 seconds. So far for me. I'm not sure if there's a whole different world, continent, or like map, but from the open world I've been playing so far, the fast travel is like immaculate. It's crazy. It's probably the fastest loading times I've experienced in this generation, I'd say. I think that's a pretty sound statement, I'd say. It's no game I've ever like realized like, oh damn, that game loaded quick. But this game literally, and I guess also considering all the dynamics coming into play with this game is adding to that as well. So, yeah, man, this game is great, beautiful. Loving the customization options. I'm just going crazy playing a little bit of Tsushima fashion. Well, I was gonna say Fashion Hunter, but that's for another game, which we'll talk about. Which I guess we should. Yeah. All in all, thoroughly enjoying it. Yeah, I totally just devoured into it the past weekend and been enjoying like almost every moment of it. Yeah. So, sticking on the term of Fashion Hunter, actually, uh, got into Monster Hunter recently. Um, man, this damn game. Uh, been a mind you, it's been a while since I played Monster Hunter. Um, and apparently this new monster came out called Elatrion. I'm pretty certain it was it was definitely in the previous Monster Hunters. I think it's always been the flagship end game monster that I think no, I'm thinking of Fatalis, the one that you always face at level 100 rank in most of the Monster Hunters. But for this in Monster Hunter Elatrion, um, I definitely overestimated my capabilities with this monster, but for the wrong reasons, I'd say. For the wrong reasons. I was going She with a Bayame. Yes, monsters. Crazy. Um, totally underestimated this monster. Um, he is hard as hell. Oh, Tokyo, nice, nice. What time is it? I don't know. Um, yeah, he is like ridiculously hard, and I read about some of the controversies, like on the Reset Era and stuff, where apparently there's just a controversy that he was really ridiculously too hard, and it it was super weird. Totally safe, totally safe. It's a welcoming environment, Chief. Yeah, it was a totally weird, um, kind of, I don't even know how to describe it, like a weird limiter, somewhat of a time limit for like killing a monster, essentially. Where basically you, if you, don't do certain requirements in the boss battle and like basically meet that threshold. So at least in the case of Latchion, if you is very intricate as well, which you know, for somebody that's not really versed on it, it's gonna be insanely hard until you like figure it out, which it takes a lot of time to figure out. So you have to compensate for this monster that like switches to different forms. So at least in, for example, in terms of quest we did, Elatrion starts in ice, goes in a dragon, and then goes into fire. But there's a lot of intricacies to that. So like you essentially if he starts in I think it was the other way around. I think he starts in fire, goes in a dragon, then goes into ice. And if you don't meet certain requirements, he will get out of that, and then you'll be stuck with fighting an element that you're not prepared for. And then in turn, you basically lose. You're at a huge disadvantage and likely to lose and die because he has this one like super uber death attack that basically will kill you in like one hit if you don't meet those requirements, which at least at least at first I was thinking, it's okay. It's not horrible. I mean, it's okay. But after playing like literally 10 hours fighting this damn boss, literally like 10 hours, me and my friends were playing and and not somewhat getting somewhere, but at the same time not getting nowhere. I definitely understand the controversy surrounding the boss now, where it is very I understand the gimmicky feel of it, where it's like, well, if you don't meet this requirement, it's pretty much you're done. Game over, really. Um which I'm indifferent about, because it's like I see both sides, where if you do it, it somewhat enforces you to make sure all your um equipment, abilities, weapons, armor are at the tip top of their shape, and if they're not, then you're going to have a really ridiculously hard time. But if you prepare properly, you may, or more than likely will, succeed. So I mean, if you look at it that way, it's like I understand, and this is an end game boss, DLC boss that was added after the game. Um, so I do see that, but at the same time, yeah, I am kind of indifferent about it. Where it's like on the other side, I do see like how kind of messed up and, yeah, straight up gimmicky and punishing it is for people who maybe aren't as versed in a Monster Hunter as some of like the more seasoned people who've played like Monster Hunter since, at least me, I started playing since Freedom Unite on the PSP and been playing it ever since. Um yeah, so I feel very indifferent about it. Very indifferent. But I get it, but I don't get it, but I get it, if that makes sense. So yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. What up, Chi Sotonaka? How's it going? Trans girls are fine. They are great. We all need to be together. You know, we all need to be together. You know. So yeah. So that's my feelings on Monster Hunter World. So after getting our asses handed to us multiple times, um, oh, man, we was like 4 p.m. to like 5 at night, just getting our asses whipped by this damn monster consistently, not getting any money. So no money to be gained, losing all our resources of what we created. It is just, it is just horrible, man. It is horrible. Nothing to show for it. Nothing to show for it at all. Did get some pickups from the fight, but that's it. That is it. No money, hugely depleted resources, and nothing. Nothing after that. I'm a little salty about that. I'm not gonna lie. I'm speaking from saltiness. The sodium levels are speaking right now. Anyway, outside of that, I've been trying to do some guided lands, trying to uh basically get stronger, get better. I feel like should be like some montage of uh of a character improving to try and fight this damn monster, which I am doing. I'm preparing, I'm getting buffer, I'm getting stronger, get smarter. Finally defeat this bitch. This damn Alatrion. Um all intents and purposes, fuck this damn monster because he's ridiculous. Ugh, I get it. I totally get the controversy with this monster in Monster Hunter. Uh, I get it. And I jokingly was in a thread with my friends. I was saying like, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna hit it in one hit. I mean, first try, we're gonna do this, and 10 hours later, oh boy, it did not work out at all. No, no, he's a little strong. I was like, after the first boss, first fight with him, like, he's a little tough. He's a little tough. Like what, 50, 60, 40 times after. Man, yeah, he's very hard. He's very hard. So I did this to myself, essentially. Uh, but outside of that, Animal Crossing. Um, got my money. Some great people. I do recommend for people that are trying to um, get turnips and stuff in Animal Crossing that they use the AC fan app. That's been great for me. I was trying like the Reddit, Animal Crossing Reddit, and Discord group, but that never really seemed to work. It always seemed to be like I'll like go on there and I'm like, hey, yeah, can I join your village to buy or whatever? And then it's like, oh, I'm sorry, it's over. So selling's over, and I'm like, oh damn it. But I like the system with this AC fan app. It's on iOS. I'm pretty sure it's on Android, but basically it will basically it has a queue system. So pretty much you sign up to join in a queue. You when the area is available for the person that's posting for whatever item, and you don't just have to go for turnips. You can go for specific items, specific villagers, various other random items, and other miscellaneous stuff that you need. Highly recommend this app. It's been very consistent so far. If you're in a need to sell turnips at a profit, I do recommend it. But I mean, outside of that, in terms of the, I guess, thrill of the stock market, really hasn't been much. I've been doing Animal Crossing. I'm letting my weeds grow. I'm not even making anything new. I guess I'm like in this weird phase where I just want to make substantial progress to the point where I can freely do a lot of stuff without it being a lot of time wasted doing it in between, if that makes sense. So yeah. Um and technically I think I beat the game too. Um uh I know you get to a point where basically you have to, what is it? You have to get your village rating up to, I think, at least 3 stars. That's all I needed to get a KK Slider to come through to the village, bless our village with his tremendous voice and beats. And I understand why he's a legend now, because he just got that oomph to him, That's why he's selling all these records. He's like KK Slider is the Drake of Animal Crossing. I stand by that statement. He's a phenomenon now. So he came to the village, basically did his rendition of the main Animal Crossing theme, and the credits were rolling. I partially felt like fulfilled. I like, that's kind of really, I'm pretty much good on Animal Crossing now. So I don't know. I may probably take a break from it for now. I got like 3 million now from from the stock market. So I don't know. I'm feeling like I'm at a point where I kind of want to take a break from the game. Um, just because it's like not demanding, but it is demanding at the same time, where it's like, oh damn it, Sunday I gotta stay up because I won't wake up in time to buy tournaments from I think her name is May, Daisy May. And then I gotta make sure I gotta sell it before Sunday. And then I gotta manage to try and get somebody to sell with a higher price and stuff like that. I don't know. It was really appealing at first, but I don't know. It started to get in the way of other games that I'm trying to focus on, like Ghost of Tsushima, and I guess that's really it. Probably Deadly Premonition after that, but that's definitely been on the back burner since this game came out. But yeah. Then probably, well, very recent. It came out last night. Gundam Extreme versus Boost Max on. Max on. I don't know why I need to emphasize. I just wanted to do that. Initially playing the game so far, I guess the best way to compare it, not compare it or associate it, is like it's like a fighting game, essentially like a fighting game, but in the Gundam universe. But it's kind of an extension of Virtual On, but with Gundam. I guess for people that maybe don't get it that way. Um, but yeah, it's just a lot of conservation, movement choices. But I guess yeah, it's kind of like Arena Fighter, Virtual On, and a fighting game. That's kind of at least what comes to mind when I think of it initially. But been playing it with my friends. I mean, really, they've been the biggest proponents of me playing it. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't have jumped into it. But I do have to admit, it is pretty fun. It has its moments. Played it a couple times in other avenues and some of the previous games. But yeah, overall, at least from a crazy PlayStation play session last night, it's pretty damn fun. It's a lot of damn Gundams to learn and understand their mechanics and stuff like that. But overall, I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Um, I do love the custom soundtracks too, because that was one thing I didn't even know it had. But I'm really tempted to kind of play around with some other soundtracks, to kind of get a little bit more enjoyment out of the game. Because I always feel like custom soundtracks is one of the best things ever in games. Shouts out to Xbox, at least for pioneering that, and then PlayStation kind of following suit eventually after. But yeah, so all in all, pretty much what I've been up to gaming wise. Still haven't watched Twin Peaks Firewalk with Me. I have it, haven't watched it yet. Plan to at some point. But outside of that, yeah, mainly YouTube tutorial videos on how to beat this damn Elatreon monster that's been kicking my ass consistently with reckless abandon, and won't let me breathe. Um, it hurts. It hurts every time. So yeah. But all in all, I think that will conclude um, episode 66 of Switches Sites. Um, if you like this podcast, definitely appreciate any support on your particular podcasting platforms. If you could like, rate, or subscribe, definitely appreciate it. Help a ton. Um, if you would like to watch this show live, get a shouts out, whatever, feel free to catch me on Twitch TV/aswitch, where I do record this live every Thursday, ideally 4 to 5, but that generally never happens. So at least lately it's been like 7 to 8, 8:30 ish. There's that. You can also catch these podcasts on VOD on youtube.com/aswitch, since Twitch just removes them after 30 days. I think 60 because I'm Prime. Yeah. Outside of that, at least I shout out one of my buddies, uh, the Game Basement. If you can, go ahead and follow the man. He's a pretty awesome. I'm not gonna give him that much credit because he's gonna let that get to his head, but he's pretty awesome, cool, down earth guy. Plays a lot of interesting games. Pretty. I'm not gonna give him that much credit. He's pretty okay fight game player. I don't like to admit anything more than that because I again we'll get to his head. But the Game Basement, go ahead and follow him on Twitch. Um, yeah. So outside of that, guys, yeah, who knows? May the bug is starting to come for me to actually start streaming games again now, actually helping other people out and kind of starting to get that itch now. So who knows? Sometimes over this weekend, may see some outbreak, may see some resistance. I might want to play resistance now because they keep updating this game over Resident Evil 3 when that game needs some damn updates. I'm sick of it, Capcom, all right? Stop it. RE3 is hurting right now. Please update, support that game. Come on, Capcom. All right. So I'm probably gonna hate play. I don't know if that's a thing. That's probably a thing. Hate play resistance, and then hate play resistance, and then play Outbreak because that's a uh better Resident Evil multiplayer game on all fronts, facets, and front ends. Right. Um. Yeah, guys. So that'll conclude episode 66 of Switch's Sights. Um. Don't cough. Don't touch people that don't want to be touched. Get your game on. Oh yeah.